Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining us this evening. We are here Tuesday evening, 5 p.m., as we've been for many Tuesday evenings for the last few weeks and months. This is the LA Strong Return and Rebuild Community Briefing Series hosted by Mayor Karen Bass. This is for Palisades residents, and we look forward to getting you all to return and rebuild as quickly as possible. As usual, our interpretation options are as follows. We have American Sign Language as well as closed captioning available. To access those, you can click on the globe at the bottom of your screen, click on American Sign Language, or you can click on the link for closed captioning within the chat. After a brief delay, you should be able to access the closed captioning on your screen. As a reminder, we do record all of these webinars, and the recordings are available at the mayor's YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/@mayorofla/videos, or simply go to the link in your chat or use the QR code on your screen. And I will, at this point in time, welcome our Mayor of Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone had a reasonably good weekend. I do hope that people are getting closer to getting the debris removed from their property and are moving into phase 3 and going to our one-stop utility center at the rec center. I hope you've had an opportunity to visit that. If you have questions about your water, your power, or even your internet, for those people who are able to return home to the Palisades, I hope you've had an opportunity to pass by. So I wanted to let you know about some action that I've taken. I took today, actually, which is I issued revisions to the first executive order. And that executive order we did a few days after the fires to bring the city and the state into alignment on projects for the expedited permitting process, and to ensure that community members have all the tools available to them to rapidly rebuild. Hundreds of people at this point have visited the One Stop Rebuilding Center, where the 12 city agencies are located. We would love your feedback. Let us know how that is working. We have gotten some feedback from individuals who were given information about how much they were going to be charged for various aspects of the rebuilding process for the permits. In some instances, we've been able to waive fees. In other instances, we couldn't, because it might be delegated by state law or local regulations. But we need to know if there are problems. It was a big misunderstanding about fees, and we were able to resolve it. And so please give us your feedback on our one-stop center, your feedback on our disaster recovery center, because they are set up to serve you. And if they are not, then we need to know about it. You also know that we have waived business taxes for impacted firms, and that we have also expedited the reopening of schools and childcare centers. And we've passed policies to prohibit evictions and to hold price gougers accountable. So we want to make sure that everything that we're doing is serving the people of the Palisades. And if there's anything we need to do to improve, let us know. We also are always monitoring the ROE, the right of entry forms, and I continue to be worried by the number of people in the Palisades who have not either opted in or opted out. We need to know what is going to happen with your property. And I hope that people are opting out more so they don't have to be bothered with debris removal, because I know for people who have opted out and are handling it on their own, they have met a lot of challenges in doing that. So again, we always hope that these webinars are helpful to you. If there's anybody, decision maker, policy maker, whatever, that you want to hear from, please let us know, and we will get them on the line with you. And I want to just thank the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Oh my goodness, I can't say enough about Colonel Swenson and his team. They are working around the clock, and I'm so encouraged that the recovery process is moving at rapid speed. We do know that there's still a lot of confusion, a lot of misunderstandings, and we want to do everything we can to resolve that. So please let us know your questions. We will answer you in writing and make sure that all of your voices are heard. Thank you very much, and look forward to talking to you at the end of the week.
Thank you, Mayor Bass. And we will go ahead and move on with the rest of our program at this time. We are going to actually start with a update on where we are in terms of right of entry forms and the debris removal process. After that, we will hear from FEMA and the SBA regarding some upcoming deadlines and some opportunities for employment with FEMA, as well as specific resources for standing homes. And then we'll share some updates in regards to the rebuilding process and some reminders about our renters and making sure that renters are aware of some of the recent new protections passed by the City Council and signed by the mayor. With that, I'll go ahead and ask that we put back up the slides and we move through the next presentation, which will be by Emiko Thompson from LA County Public Works. Thank you, Emiko.
Good afternoon, everybody. So one of the main things that I wanted to bring to your attention today is the upcoming deadline. So property owners are strongly encouraged to submit their ROE form or opt out by March 31st, which is now right around the corner. As a reminder, ROEs can be submitted in multiple ways. You can either do it online at recovery.lacounty.gov. You can email it to roe@dpw.lacounty.gov. And all this information, by the way, can be found on the QR code that you'll see on your screen here, as well as I can put it in the chat. You can also submit your ROEs or opt-out forms, the ROEs at the disaster recovery centers, or mail it to LA County Public Works at 900 South Fremont Avenue, Alhambra. And a quick update on the ROE processing status. We continue to make good progress on processing the ROEs. To date, almost 9,000 ROEs have been received, of which about 46% are from the Palisades fire impacted areas. And nearly 5,500 ROEs have been transmitted to Army Corps. We're currently doing about 200 ROEs per day with a new staffing level of about 250 people. And one other thing that I wanted to quickly mention is that additional guidance on the opt-out process has been posted on the recovery.lacounty.gov website. And here you'll find detailed step-by-step instructions on how to apply for a fire debris removal permit through the county's Epic LA system if you choose to opt out. That's it for today. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you so much, Emiko. We really appreciate your partnership. And if folks have questions regarding the County Public Works and some of the debris removal, you're welcome to put them into the Q&A function, as well as for all of our presenters. The Q&A function can be found at the bottom of your screen if you click on Q&A with the little question mark and bubble. Otherwise, you can click on More, and you should be able to find that Q&A function. You can type in your question, and you'll get an answer right back just in a little bit. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to Colonel Swenson from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Colonel Swenson.
Well, good evening, City of LA, and thanks to Mayor Bass for those kind remarks. So the Corps is working as fast as we safely can to clear debris, fire ash and debris from the homes, the parcels in LA City. I just want to give you a quick update. So as of a couple hours ago, we had received 1,749 rights of entry specifically for LA City homes that were impacted by this fire. And of those 1,749 rights of entry, we have completed debris removal on 201 of them. Now we have probably twice that many that are in some stages of active debris removal right now and are close to being completed, but we still have a few minor tasks left to get on those. Today, we had 58 primary debris crews. So that's excavators on a parcel with dump trucks actively moving debris to either landfills or recycling centers. So we had 58 of them out today working on 58 unique properties in the LA City limits, which is a phenomenal number of crews, and we're hoping to continue to increase that as we try to get closer to 100 crews working. I do acknowledge, I did read some of the questions in the Q&A. I do acknowledge that traffic is starting to be impacted by an increased truck traffic is impacting the community around that's trying to survive and get back to their normal life cycle. And we're doing everything we can to ease those burdens, but yet still be fast and safe with debris removal. And as soon as we're done this mission, we will leave and allow this community to rebuild and to heal. I think we're averaging about 600 trucks a day. We're going to hit our peak here in the next month or two. We'll sustain that for a few months, and then, as I said, we'll be gone. I just want to underscore what the county's message was. The deadline to opt in or to opt out is the 31st of March. So that's about 12 or 13 shopping days from today. I encourage you, if you have questions, reach out to the Army Corps of Engineers, to LA County. Let's get some answers for you so you can make an informed decision. Also, while I'm doing updates, I just want to say that we completed 2 schools in LA City. And the third one, we did the 360 assessment on today, and we were actively doing asbestos remediation. While I'm talking about asbestos, I did get some calls today. So the debris removal process is a multi-phased process. So you'll get a call 3 to 5 days out telling you when we're going to show up with those excavator crews to do primary debris removal. But there are some tasks that might have to get done ahead of that call, such as testing for asbestos, which will have a crew on your property doing some testing. If we find asbestos, we will come back and we'll do some remediation. That remediation could include things like tipping over your chimney, moving some of the ash away from areas where we have found asbestos, so that when the asbestos remediation crew comes, they can remove the asbestos. Then once that is done and it is safe for us to continue on with primary debris removal, then we will send a different crew out. That will trigger the phone call, the 3 to 5 day out phone call that we're coming out to clear debris, and that we're going to do this 360 site walk if you want to participate in that. And so I just want to make sure I clear that up for folks. There could be some activity on your parcel before you get the 3 to 5 day call, and those are measures we need to take to remove those hazards such as asbestos before we can get in and do the bulk of the work. And with that, again, I just want to plug March 31st is right around the corner. Encourage everyone to sign up. We are building crews and trying to get this mission done as quickly as we safely can. Over.
Thank you very much, Colonel Swenson. Really appreciate everything that you all are doing. We are immensely appreciative of your partnership, as well as your accessibility. I know everybody in the community really appreciates it. With that, we're going to move on to a presentation from FEMA and the Small Business Association. I'll go ahead and invite Ruben on from FEMA to provide a reminder about the March 31st deadline and what are the resources available. Then we'll have our colleagues from the SBA present on the SBA opportunities, and then we'll go back to FEMA on a few additional slides. Ruben, I see that you may have tried to come on video, but it doesn't look like your video is working. Are you there, Ruben? Oh, there we go. We can see you now. You're up. And you're on mute.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ruben. I work for FEMA. Friendly reminder that the March 31st is our deadline to apply. You can do these applications online. You can download the FEMA app. You can call the FEMA helpline at 800-621-3362, or you can visit one of our disaster recovery centers, which one of them is located in Woodbury Road, 540 West Woodbury Road. The other one is in 10850 West Pico Boulevard, Los Angeles.
Ruben, are you there?
Yes. Yeah. Also, for those who have insurance, please file first with your insurance before registering with FEMA, because we are going to ask for settlement letter, letter of denial, or the declaration page. Without that information, we cannot proceed with your application. So please, it is important that you first file with your insurance company. Also, rental assistance. FEMA does provide rental assistance up to 18 months from the moment of the disaster. So at this moment, the disaster it was declared on January 8th. So a couple of months have already passed for that assistance. So it is very important that you call the FEMA helpline to request a rental assistance. Also, you can go to the DRCs. And also there is a team of people who are calling applicants to provide this information at the moment.
Thank you, Ruben. And we're going to come back to you on our next slide. But at this time, I'd like to invite Yvette from the SBA. Yvette, come on down and share with us your reminder and a little bit of an update on all the great resources we've been able to get out to the community. Yvette from the SBA.
Hi, and thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Our deadline is the same as FEMA. So March 31st is the deadline to apply for SBA assistance for physical damage. It's important that you apply, start the process. If you do not need the loan, you do not have to accept the loan. But we want to make sure that you have started the process, know exactly what may be eligible. In the case with insurance, again, we would ask for the declaration page on your insurance. But if you haven't settled with your insurance, we may be able to go ahead and provide the loan prior to you settling with your insurance, and then those proceeds would pay back that portion of the loan that you may have had approved. So what we do is low interest rate loans for homeowners, renters, and businesses. To date, we have approved 7,028 loans for a total of $1.8 billion, and every day that is increasing. We are working towards possibly getting to that $2 billion by early next week. There are several ways that you can reach us. One, of course, is online. You can apply directly online at sba.gov/disaster. You can call our customer service number. There's always going to be someone there who may be able to assist you. They will absolutely give you your closest center. We are co-located with FEMA at the disaster recovery centers, and we have SBA FEMA Business Recovery Center. You are welcome to go to any of those centers. The Business Recovery Center is for everyone. It is not just for businesses, but FEMA is not co-located with us there. So I encourage everyone to go sit down with the customer service representative and understand everything that we have available, what you can apply for, how we can assist, and let us guide you. Don't exclude yourself from this. I always say, don't leave any federal dollars on the table. You may need it. So we want to make sure that we're getting you all the help that's available. Again, March 31st is our deadline to apply, and we will be available with FEMA at the disaster recovery centers. If you have questions, please feel free to come and visit us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'll invite Ruben to come back on and walk us through some additional FEMA resources and opportunities. We can go to the next slide. Ruben, can you come back on and share some FEMA hiring resources and employment opportunities?
Yes, so right now FEMA is hiring local hires. So these are people who are located here in California. You can go to usajobs.gov. At the moment, they are hiring for different positions. We have public assistance, recovery coordination, applicant service, voluntary agencies, liaison specialists. If you have any questions, there's the email right now on screen, FEMA-DR4856.localhire@fema.dhs.gov. There's an excellent opportunity to assist helping these survivors that are right now in the state of California. That is it when it comes to local hires.
Okay, next slide. Ruben, we have one more slide for you to review the large expenses. Ruben from FEMA, can you come back on, please? And share the information about the large expenses?
Yes. This is for the structural. FEMA does cover for the structure of the house, the personal property items, the septic systems, and vehicles. That is another assistance that FEMA does provide. If your vehicle was damaged, let's say if it was complete loss, visit the DMVs. They are providing something that they mentioned is called the junk slip. We will need to have the junk slip so that way we confirm that the vehicle is completely damaged. There's a total loss, so that FEMA can provide full assistance with that. Personal property items, FEMA does assist. If you have insurance, like I mentioned, if the insurance is itemized, it will let us know what they have covered. Anything that they have not covered, FEMA can provide assistance for what was not covered for personal property items. Also for the structure, if your insurance did not cover the structural, please provide that information to FEMA so that they can go ahead and process also for the housing assistance. You can visit the DRCs. It's an easy way to send documents. Since you have to provide those documents to FEMA to upload them in your account, you could do them online. You can download the FEMA app. You can send them via fax, or you can visit the DRCs, and they can scan the documents and upload them. Also, FEMA helpline, 800-621-3362.
All right, so lots of resources from FEMA. Please take advantage of them. Again, that deadline is March 31st. So we want to make sure that everybody is really clear and getting in your applications. Lots of different types of resources are available, including these coverage for large expenses. And some of these resources are available for those that have had to cover items for standing homes, not only for those that had your homes destroyed by the fire. With that being said, I also saw one of the Q&A comments was a reminder from Lee Mandel that those with standing homes do not need to fill out the opt-out form. So you may want to apply by March 31st to FEMA resources and make sure that you submit all of the relevant materials to take advantage of those FEMA resources, whether it be rental assistance while your home you were not able to occupy due to the fires, or whether it be some large expenses that you may have. But you do not need to, if you have a standing home, fill out the opt-out form. That's only for those whose homes were destroyed by the fire and need to either opt in to the Army Corps debris removal program or opt out. Next slide. As a reminder, we do have a one-stop rebuilding center. It does have new hours. It is located at Sawtell, 1828 Sawtell Boulevard, and the hours are now 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. We are closed on Sundays. We based that on foot traffic. A lot of people were coming during regular business hours, so we thought we would just mirror regular business hours at the center. This is a one-stop shop location for Palisades residents to get information about permitting process, as well as to get information about rebuilding your home. What are the types of information? What are the types of plans you need to submit? How do you get your former plans from your home prior to the fire? These are the kinds of questions that we could answer for you at the One Stop Rebuilding Center. We have 10 departments on site with dedicated staff to you all in the Palisades, as well as being able to answer questions unique to your rebuilding needs. We want you to have the ability to access staff, even if you're still going through phase 2 debris removal. We want you to be able to get your permits and rebuilding checklist in order before phase 2 ends, so that right when you begin phase 3 or the rebuild, you'll be able to do so. Walk-ins are welcome, no appointments are needed, and free parking is available on site right below the building. We know that some people have shared with us that they were driving around quite a bit because there's only meters, but there actually is parking right below the building, and you are welcome to use it. It's not a huge parking lot, so we can't guarantee parking is available all the time, but certainly you're welcome to park in the underground facility provided at that Sawtell location. And we hope that you're able to come by and visit, ask your questions. and get some answers, as well as begin to submit for your plans, as well as talk to dedicated staff on site. Next slide. Additionally, we do have online rebuild resources, so not everybody needs to come if you would prefer to do the work online. So you are able to access through dbs.lacity.gov. You can go to ePlanLA to create your Angelino account and file your permit application. You're welcome to do this if that works better for you. We know that many in the Palisades did not build their home and maybe have never built a home. So we do want to provide the one-stop center so that you can get your questions asked and answered. However, if you prefer to do it online, you are more than welcome to do that. We also have a telephone number where staff are able to answer your questions via phone, if that's how you prefer to communicate with us. That number is 213-577-8441. Again, 213-577-8441. And that's a line, it's a call center where Department of Building and Safety staff will be available to answer your questions during regular business hours. The last update that I had is in regards to eviction protections. We do have new eviction protections in the city of Los Angeles. For those who are hosting an individual or family or pets that were displaced due to the fire, you have protections, even if your lease does not allow for those individuals to be living with you or for the pets to be living with you in terms of your lease. We want you to know that there is an upcoming deadline. It's next Tuesday, the 25th of March, and we need you to submit a document to your landlord with your full name and date of birth, or the full name and date of birth of the individuals who are now living with you, who may have been displaced from the fires. We also need you to share the information about the pet and a physical description, if there is a pet involved, the address of the displaced person or the pets, as well as the reason that the individuals were displaced due to evacuation order, damage, or destruction of their homes. So we do have a sample letter that we will put into the chat. You can find that at bit.ly/LAHD renter protections. We'll put that into the chat as well. It's a sample letter that provides you with a template that you can simply fill out and give to your landlord. Again, this is a protection. You cannot be evicted based on the fact that you may be housing individuals that have lost their home, even if it's not in your lease. So please let folks know about this provision and make sure that they submit this letter to their landlord before March 25th. This is the last date to do so, so certainly do it early. And make sure your landlord gets that information, and they cannot evict you even if your lease does not allow for additional people or pets in the home. With that, we're going to go ahead and move to question and answers. And we will start with some questions regarding debris removal. I will ask for our county team member, Emiko Thompson, to join us on screen, as well as Colonel Swenson, for a series of questions regarding debris removal and ROEs. So the first question that I'm going to pose, I think, is to Emiko. This is in regards, this is from Jeff Abramson. And Jeff is asking, why does the FAQ allow homeowners to collect insurance proceeds, but the opt-in form says they go to the county? Could you please clarify that, Emiko? I think there may be some confusion about what's on the FAQ form, and maybe you could just tell us. What's the deal with insurance money? Where does it go? To the county or to the homeowner?
Sure. The FAQ can be confusing, but the simple answer is that our role is to ensure that there is no duplication of benefits. So depending on what the insurance policy is for any particular property owner, if, for example, if it has a line item specific to debris removal, then we would ensure that those insurance proceeds are assigned to the county if the Army Corps removes the debris so that there's no duplication of benefits. But let's say the cost for Army Corps having done the debris removal is more than what the insurance line item was for the homeowner, then we would only collect up to the amount that the insurance covered. And let's say in a situation where the line item is not specified, meaning that the insurance total amount covers a variety of things, including debris removal. In that situation, we would wait until the home is rebuilt so that any remaining proceeds could potentially be assigned to the county. And if there's not enough left, then we take nothing. If there's enough left, but not enough for what it actually costs the Army to do, we would only still collect what's remaining.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, we have a number of people who have asked questions regarding condos. And I know that this is an area that I think the city is interested in helping and maybe at least applying to ask FEMA to provide the Army Corps services for condos. But the general question is the Army Corps going to be able to provide debris removal for condos? So Emiko, if you wouldn't mind just sharing the bottom line around how you're processing condo ROEs. I know that there's a process where we have to apply to FEMA through the county and the state to ask for special permission for condos. But if you could clarify on your end how that's going. I know Colonel Swenson will likely say it's not in the mission assignment yet. So Colonel Swenson, if you have something else to say about that, please take yourself off mute. But from the county public works perspective, how are you handling condos? And then I'm happy to share a little bit more from the city perspective.
Sure. So multi-unit parcels, whether they're condos, townhomes, or mobile home parks, the status of phase 2 cleanup is still under discussion. And in the meantime, we're asking each owner of a destroyed unit to submit an ROE as well as the HOA.
All righty. So what we are asking for is everybody to submit the right of entry forms from your condo, your condominium community, as well as the HOA. And then we at the city are going to be asking for FEMA to assign the Army Corps to do the multifamily, both apartment complexes and condos. But it's up to FEMA to determine if that is going to be allowable and if the Army Corps will be assigned to do that cleanup. At this point in time, there is still a lot of questions. So we want everybody to simply fill out the right of entry form, and we will get the answers to the question about how condos are going to be handled. We don't have a great answer, to be honest, at this point in time, but we are working it through the process. And we do want you to fill out your ROE forms by the deadline so that then we're in a better position to be able to make that formal request to the federal government. Okay, another question regarding debris removal is in regards to the order of if you're going to be doing debris removal first in the Highlands, if there's going to be debris removal happening in certain locations of the Palisades, how you're thinking about that order. Colonel Swenson, can you share a little bit more about how you're thinking about the neighborhoods and which neighborhoods you are tackling first?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So we have 58 crews working in the LA City area that was fire impacted area. And my goal is to get those crews working around two priorities first, and that's sensitive ecological locations and in close parcels, damaged parcels that are in close proximity to standing homes that are reoccupiable, whether they've been reoccupied or not, or they could be reoccupied. And so those are the first two priorities. The third sort of priority that I use is once I work on the first two is trying to get crews working everywhere and spread my 58 crews out so that I don't I don't cause my own congestion and my own traffic jams as I try to move crews, move trucks throughout the local roads and the county roads that we need to use to get to the state roads and the federal interstates. And so that's kind of our methodology. And I was out today driving around. There are crews working around standing structures, trying to give those homeowners a little buffer space. And I think as you'll see over the coming weeks, as we grow our crews up to 100, and we'll try to push it beyond 100, you're going to see crews in every neighborhood, or almost every neighborhood, and maybe in some neighborhoods, multiple ones. The last constraint is that it's only based, I can only do where I have a validated right of entry. And as I mentioned earlier, there are some challenges with asbestos mitigation. It's an extra step in the process that requires me to remediate the asbestos before I can send a crew with an excavator to remove your debris. And so what I encourage everyone on the line is, if you get that 72-hour call, to do everything in your power not to try to delay that process. So if you want to be there, to make yourself available to be there. If everyone wants a special date, it makes it nearly impossible to be able to get this done efficiently, which means we're going to delay everyone else's debris removal.
Thank you, Colonel Swenson. So I heard some of this in your answer, but we do have a question from Bianca Nicolisu. Bianca is asking, are we going to prioritize debris removal for properties in close proximity to standing homes? Bianca says her home is still standing, but she's wary to move back in if there's going to be active debris removal in close proximity due to health hazards. And where can she find a map of which lots are fully cleared?
So we have the Army Corps of Engineers has a viewer. It's actually located, if you go to LA County, recovery.lacounty.gov. There's a link to our public viewer, and it'll show you based on color coding what the sort of status is of the various lots that we have rights of entry for. So I encourage people to go look at that. I'd also, state that we use the wet method to remove fire ash and debris. So we are spraying water on the debris to keep any ash on the ground and not airborne. And we also wear air monitors. And we have perimeter air monitors and sensitive site air monitors around our work areas to ensure that our crews' methods are being successful at minimizing the dust or negating any impacts of the dust to improve our health, but also to improve the public, the health of the public that are living in and around the areas that we are working.
All righty. And Colonel Swenson, if you if you have that link handy for your storyboard, we'll get it out to everybody in the chat so that people can look and find where the location of the completed homes may be. That would be great. We do have a follow-up question from Vicki Warren on the condos issue. So Emiko, I think this might be a question for you. So Vicki is wondering, is there a distinction between complexes, multifamily complexes or condo complexes that are zoned commercial versus zoned residential? Are those being treated differently in terms of how we are going to proceed with them if they're zoned residential? Vicki is saying that her property is zoned residential, and she's wondering if that makes a difference in regards to how we're processing the ROEs and providing them over to the Army Corps.
Sure. So commercial properties, including apartments, my understanding is that our state and federal partners are currently in discussions to look for opportunities for inclusion of those types of properties in the government-run debris removal program. But at this time, commercial properties are not included. When it comes to multi-units, such as condos, townhomes, mobile home parks, discussions are also underway for that category. But once again, our encouragement is to go ahead and submit your ROE until a final decision is made.
All right, thank you very much. Emiko, one more question for you. There's a question from a number of different leaders, block club captains, as well as different homeowners associations and so forth. And they're asking, how can they help in terms of getting the ROEs in? Is there a way that they can get the information about who hasn't turned in their ROE or their opt-out? And then in terms of partnering with the county and the city on outreach. Is there a way for the homeowners associations and the block clubs to help with that?
That's an excellent idea. There are quite a few ROEs still out, or properties out there that haven't submitted ROEs or opt-out forms. So it is in the collective interest to specifically reach out to certain areas. I don't have a clear answer on that, but I will take it back to the team to see what can be done about that. Thank you, Jenny.
All righty. Well, there are people in the Palisades who are ready, willing, and able to help reach out to the community. So perhaps Emiko, your office and our office here in the mayor's office can work together to get that information out to folks in a way where they can also help get those in. Because of course, we want everybody to turn those forms in and have a plan for how the debris is going to get removed so that we avoid any kind of nuisance property or any issue on the back end. So with that, I am going to just call out a positive shout out from Rob Schiller. Rob Schiller says the Army Corps has been amazing, capital letters, along with their subcontractors. They did a great job. Thank you, Rob. We appreciate the positive feedback, and we agree Colonel Swenson and team are making it happen, and we truly, truly appreciate all their hard work.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. We do have a couple of questions in regards to the FEMA reimbursement. So I'll go ahead and turn to that at this time. If either the FEMA team or I think the insurance commissioners team's also on the line. So we may have a joint answer here. But we have a question from Paul Mabam. So if Ruben or Roxanne from FEMA could come on and help answer this. Rob is asking that he basically has received FRV dollars from his insurance carrier, but they have not settled the claim yet. I have provided FEMA with the copies of hotel receipts in the hopes that I will get reimbursed, at least in part for lodging. Does the fact that I had received 4 months of FRV disqualify me from receiving reimbursements for hotel lodging? This may be a question that others have. So between the FEMA team as well as the insurance commissioners team, if you're able to come on video and help answer that question, that would be great. Hi, Rob. I see you. Go ahead,
Hi, Jenny.
Rob.
Well, so as far as FRV, they're most likely referring to the fair rental value, which is, I think, what the FAIR plan refers to. Most other carriers call that like additional living expenses, where, if a home is uninhabitable, where they'll provide those living expenses to live elsewhere until they're able to either get back in their home or the rebuild is complete. As far as how that impacts FEMA, I'm not sure how that would do that. So I'm hoping the FEMA representative can maybe clear that up.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Ruben or Roxanne, could you come on and answer that question?
Yes, I can help with that question. So if it is the fair assistance, FEMA can provide assistance with the hotels receipts. Now, if it is assistance living expenses or loss of use, that's why we ask for the insurance documents to confirm which one is it. Because if it's just fair, FEMA can provide assistance to reimburse the receipts.
Okay, thank you. And remind us where people can get help. Of course, if you have specific questions regarding FEMA, you can go to the Disaster Recovery Center that's located on Pico and Westwood. And they are there from 9 a.m. To 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. And Ruben, can you shout out your phone number again if people have questions and want to call in?
That is correct. The phone number is 800-621-3362, or you can visit the DRCs, which is 10850 West Pico Boulevard and 540 West Woodbury Road.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. I do want to ask another question for our standing home community. Deb LaCusta is asking a very important question, and I think this would go to Emiko. from LA County Public Works. Deb is asking, if your house is standing, but the land has tested for toxic ash and soot, does she need to fill out an ROE? Again, it's a standing home. And she's asking if she needs to fill out the ROE based on toxic ash and soot.
So the ROE, the government run program applies to properties that have damaged structures greater than 120 square feet. So that's like a 10 by 12, maybe like a size of a room or a garage. So if there aren't structures that size or bigger, then you're not required to submit an ROE nor opt out because those properties don't qualify for the government run program.
Okay, so if you have a standing home, you don't need to fill out the ROE form. Is that the general answer, Emiko?
Yes.
All right. So that is, you may still have toxic soil or soot or something along those lines. But the private property debris removal program offered by the Army Corps of Engineers is for removing large debris, not for soot or soil. So you do not need to fill out the ROE form. All right, we have another question for debris removal for Colonel Swenson. It is the Army Corps has cleared my property. Thank you. This is from Janet Lees. She says, thank you. I am waiting for the FSO. How long does it typically take from the completion of phase 2 to the final FSO? First of all, Colonel Swenson, can you please describe what an FSO is one more time? And also the timeline involved.
Yeah, so FSO is final sign-off. And so the steps between when the primary debris is cleared from the property and you have FSO, or what we used to call complete, it can take anywhere from a couple days to maybe a week, or I guess it could take a little longer depending on what has to happen in that period of time. So the list of possible things that could happen are, we need to make sure that your erosion control is down, that your best management practices for water runoff have been installed. And the erosion control is what we call hydro mulch. So it's like hydro seed that you would see someone wants to plant grass seed mechanically with a sprayer. It's like that, but it has no grass seed in it. It's just little bits of mulch that helps lock the soil in place, so it's less likely to blow away or run off. Then there's any hazardous trees that were not removed prior to debris removal. We'll go in and remove those trees. Any treetops that have to be chipped, we will do all the chipping, remove all that. There's a final inspection where we go and make sure we've marked all of your utility stubs, that when we go in and do debris removal, where your power connection came in, where your plumbing connection came in from the street, we'll spray paint all of those so that where they're at. And then we'll do one final inspection and then essentially turn the right of entry back to the county. So those could take as short as maybe a day or two, or could take a week or two, just depending on scheduling. But we're trying to reduce that time from when we get the visible signs of the fire removed from your property to when you get final sign off, because we know that in many cases that is the trigger for you to actually get issued a building permit to start reconstruction.
Thank you very much. All right, so that concludes our live Q&A. We'll keep answering a few questions here in the chat or the Q&A function of Zoom. But if we could go ahead and put up the slides again, that would be great. And we'll move to wrap up. As a reminder, we do have a frequently asked questions document available. Many of the questions that you ask on these webinars get turned into frequently asked questions and answers on lacity.gov. So please feel free to scan the QR code on your screen or click on the link in your chat, or go to lacity.gov and you will find the frequently asked questions document linked prominently at the top of your page. Next slide. We also are continuing to host these community briefings for Palisades residents. The next one will be this coming Tuesday, a week from today, March 25th. We were hosting them Tuesdays and Thursdays. And at this point in time, based on community feedback, we're going to pare them back down to just once a week on Tuesdays. Tuesdays at 5 will be our regular time. We hope that you'll register with us for this coming Tuesday's webinar and spread the word to your friends as well as fellow neighbors feel free to register now at the link in your chat or go to the QR code that you see on your screen. And next slide. We do also have all of the webinars that we've hosted previously and throughout the last few weeks, all on the mayor's YouTube page. These are recorded as well as provided to you. And you can see on the web page or on the YouTube page, the different topics and so forth. If you click, you can see all the topics and the presenters. So you don't necessarily have to watch them all. You can go to the specific times and see the specific presenter that you may want to hear more about. Again, we've had topics, everything from the insurance commissioner's office presenting on insurance issues to our county assessor on tax issues. So if you had a question that maybe didn't get answered today, you may want to check out the YouTube page for Mayor Karen Bass and look at the prior webinars that may answer your questions in addition to the FAQ document. You can go to youtube.com/@mayorofla/videos or go to the link in the chat or to the QR code on your page, and you can go directly to that YouTube page. You can also, of course, just type in YouTube and Karen Bass, and the information will be right there for you in your search window. With that, we will say thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. We appreciate you joining us and look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, March 25th, for another community update to rebuild and return home in the Palisades. Thank you so much and have a lovely evening.